Yo, 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 what is up, everyone? It is the Pro Wrestling Planet podcast back again. The brand Big Vito T. It is September 21st. It's the first day of fall, isn't it? Or tomorrow
I
is?
don't know.
We're on the cusp of it. Anyway, we're changing
Cusp.
seasons. Belts are changing hands everywhere. And
We missed last week.
yes, Vito and I are going to talk about this Dynamite Grand Slam show, but we got a little business to start it off with beforehand.
Yeah. First of all, I noticed. I'm not going to talk about the All Out and Scrum and all that. We're going to leave that to the side because we weren't here last week, and last week's when we would have talked about it. So we're just going to leave that to the side, okay? But there's a couple of things I want to talk about that I saw tonight.
Well,
Did you catch the car? Wait, go ahead.
We covered the Scrum a couple weeks ago, kind of. I thought there's been a show in between this before
Was
the
there?
last one. Yeah,
It's the suspension wasn't talked about.
right. We didn't really talk. Yeah, we didn't really know exactly the last time we went to air what was gonna.
But
what the deal was.
So, did you see the car going up and down the ramp during the show?
Oh my god, that annoyed me so much. I'm like, why is there a taxi cab there?
Like, I was so distracted. It distracted me so many times. I just want to throw that out there. It did. It distracted me so many times.
I understand completely.
Okay. Now, the other thing that was a quick one. The other thing I want to actually have discussion on is they kept calling because they had the main event tonight for the world title. They kept calling the AEW World Championship the greatest prize in wrestling, the richest prize in wrestling, the biggest prize in wrestling, in all of wrestling, they kept saying. Now, are they saying that because Roman is the sports entertainment champion? Or are they saying that because they think their wrestling is better than is Vince's wrestling? Or that their champion is going to be better than Vince's champion? Your thoughts?
It's an interesting play on words, I think. You know what I mean? It's kind of, this is just, it's a time-honored tradition. You have, even dating back to the Monday Night Wars, man, you'd always hear Shivani every week. This was when he used to get on my nerves back then. This is the richest prize in our sport. Every single week he would say something like that, and you never really got that kind of verbiage with WWE. I mean, they mention that it's important, but it's almost like they do it without even really mentioning that any other championship in the world exists. You know what I mean?
Well, now the thing between AEW and WWE, especially with MJF talking about it, the two companies are actually being talked about on air.
Right.
I don't know. It seems like something that's more of a deliberate point almost, because they said it a bunch of times. That's the only reason why I wrote it down. Came back here to the front of my page to write it down because they said it a bunch of times. Well, so it's like trying to hammer it home that their title is more important than what Roman's handling over there.
That's probably. Tony probably made it a point to the announcers, either in the in-ears or, in some sort of meeting beforehand or something like that, I would imagine.
Yeah.
If with him really, with AEW in general, emphasizing it. And, Tony did a little bit of the same thing himself the other day. I don't know if you saw the quote about how Arthur Ashe and the Northeast was the real crown jewel of wrestling and not Saudi Arabia.
Oh, I did hear something about that. Yeah.
So maybe it's kind of along those lines,
Yeah. And he did say that Arthur Ashe, this show is going to be the best wrestling show in New York this year. I was like, okay. Yeah. He's claiming them.
Well,
he's claiming them all.
This show, yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, Vito, we missed last week's show. Last week was a pretty much a setup show for all this. Obviously, the Tournament of Champions, continuing. We found out that it was going to be Danielson, Moxley, two Blackpool members against each other. Before we dive into this, were you happy that that's kind of where it ended up? Or did you think they should have went a different way?
Uh, I like that they put Mox and Danielson back together. I really liked their first one, where they put the team together, put the band together.
Gotta get the band together, brother.
I like when they put the band together. That match was really good. Can't fight together unless you bleed together. That was a good match. So I like what they did. We'll talk about at the end my thoughts on that. But no, I liked it. I liked how it turned out. I didn't see Sammy or Jericho going for that. I liked it.
They could have done Mox Jericho, I guess, but yeah, I mean, it's fine. The only kind of issue I had with it was that it was, the two Blackpool guys against each other, which you can make it work, and they ended up making it work as we'll get to a little bit later. And
one more thing I wanted to point out to you, and this is for you specifically.
All right.
Did you hear how many commentating issues they had tonight?
I had not really. Well, what do you mean by
there
issues?
Was so many talking over and I'm sorry, go ahead. Sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Like
go
that.
ahead.
Okay.
There was so much of it tonight. It was awfully bad. JR wasn't even out there. Not once tonight.
Too many chefs in the kitchen, man, I tell you. Used to be the...
I thought for sure you'd have something to say about it, but you didn't notice.
I didn't really
I had to bring it up.
I was... to be honest, like, I while watching this show, I watched it intently, but at times I would have the sound down and this and that, trying to visit with my wife and stuff like that. Hadn't really seen her all day. She just started beauty school this week.
Dang.
And we've been like two ships passing in the night. I tell you what, it's just been kind of a thing. But I really just I was watching intently, but I was kind of going back and forth with having the sound kind of up and down, kind of depending on the conversation. So no, I did not catch that, but how much that annoys me, Vito.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up, because it was atrocious.
Commentary,
I'm hoping
man.
Tony hears it and does something about it, because it was bad.
It's a sweet science, and people don't really think about it that way. Just same way as refereeing, right? There's a science to it. There's a psychology to it. It's not just blabbing out a bunch of blah,
No, it's not just about counting.
See, exactly.
It's more than counting, folks.
Exactly. So
trained referee here. I'm telling you, there's more than counting, sir and ma'ams. All right, all my pre-show stuff's out of the way. You can kick off the show now.
Well, the show basically starts.
Oh wait,
what's that?
It's Wednesday night.
Oh yeah, we totally forgot to do the gimmick.
You know what that means. Start the match.
Well,
we're just like AEW. We start the show and immediately jump into the match.
Right. Well, we needed to, because we had all these big matches that we're trying to cram on to 90 minutes of TV time.
I know.
So, but that's cool. I love the way that it kind of all rolled out. With all that, there wasn't a whole lot of BS. There wasn't a whole lot of window dressing, a few short promos here and there, but it did not play out like a usual Dynamite. It felt like more of a Clash of the Champions kind of deal. So I loved that. I thought that was great. But yes, this show kicks off with the ROH title match. Claudio and Jericho.
The Wizard.
The freaking wizard, brother. The Ayatollah of
Wizardy.
wizardry. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, no, they kind of, and we talked about this on our last show, making mention of how Jericho, made that, it was like a thing he said on commentary or something about wanting to challenge for the ROH title. And
so you said you went in a couple minutes late, right?
I was a little bit late. I came in about halfway through this match is when I finally was able to get it on. So take us through this.
Let me explain to you exactly what the opening segment was. Uppercut rally, yam bag smash, big boot.
Okay.
That was Claudio. It was a great open. I've never seen a better open. And the yam bag smash, that Taz called that, if you didn't know the vernacular there.
All right.
Yeah, man, it was a bash him up. Jericho, he can take a beating, he's old and he looks great. Did you see the big hurricanrana off the top? It was supposed to be a power bomb and he reversed it into a hurricanrana.
Jericho reversed it into one? Yeah.
Yeah, that was beautiful. One thing I saw during this match, you see every time the hard cam came on, the two guys held the titles up. Did you see that? It was an NWO world title and a Smoking Skull title.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they went to the hard cam maybe 6 times, and it was just for an instant. But every time two guys would hold up the title right above in the camera, you just had a split second to see it, and then they switch back.
It's because those guys, they kept screwing up the shot.
Yeah.
Like, we can't use that shot or we're going to have to kick those guys out.
Yeah. I was like, and they can't do the WWE thing. They can't go down there and be, assholes to the guys.
Right.
So.
I used to, and still to this day, like WWE still kind of does that when they show the shot of the announcers up close. And there's always, people are trying to goof around behind the announcer.
Yeah.
And, and at some of the times you can see them if they're like being too ridiculous about it. Like, you'll see like someone off camera, like you won't even see them, but like you can just tell that someone's telling them like, hey, fucking stop doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one of the guys kneeling down at ringside.
Yeah.
There's guys all over ringside that you barely ever see, but you see them in passing.
Right. One of the workers out there doing stuff and making sure you're not a distraction on camera. But yeah.
So this the end of this match was my first jaw drop moment of the night. I had two jaw drop moments of the night tonight.
Well,
and this was the first one of the two.
Are you just talking about the finish in general or just the fact
that...
Okay.
No, yeah, the finish in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, what of course, Jericho going over here, our new ROH champion.
With the low blow and the Judas effect to win the Ring of Honor world title. And I don't think you got my text before you watched the show, but there was somewhere between 35 and 40 uppercuts from old Claudio. I went back and counted. I watched that match twice.
Yeah, but
went back and counted.
How many of those were European?
All of them.
Oh, okay, all right.
I checked their status.
Well, that's good.
I checked the status.
They have
the match went 14:48.
They have clear visas and all that.
Yes.
Well, the word and innuendo on the street, as what's his name would say, is that basically this Jericho thing is hopefully an idea that means that Ring of Honor might be coming to TV or streaming or something like that soon. because
that's what Tony's doing is using Jericho as his first champion to start at Ring of Honor, I'm going to be so pissed off, dude. That would be so messed up because he did the same thing for AEW.
really,
I'm hoping, yes, right? Jericho is the first champion.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So my thought on this is he wanted 8 titles. He wanted to be a champion in all the companies. So I think this Ring of Honor World Championship is just that. They're just giving Jericho his, I don't know what he wants, I guess. Whatever. They're giving Jericho something. Yeah. So I don't know why you would do that with the ROH title. There's better be some type of story here. But hey, I was not expecting it. I did not think Jericho was going to win this. I don't know why he won this, but good for him. I hope Tony has something to back this up.
It seems sort of, the storyline did come kind of randomly and kind of quickly. It didn't really develop into a whole lot.
I'm Chris Jericho, give me your title. That's all it took.
And so what's next for Claudio after this? You know what I mean? Does he try to win it back, or do they transition him into something else, you think?
I don't think nothing about it. Honestly, my jaw is still on the floor early. Okay. I wasn't expecting it. I really don't know where it goes. Yeah. I'm hoping Tony Khan does.
No, that's the thing. I wasn't super surprised because I don't know. I heard somebody say this. I don't know if it was Uncle Dave or who it was, but they had mentioned kind of the Jericho thing and how it would be a good idea to have, just a bigger star in that position, trying to get attention on Ring of Honor. So,
I don't know. Claudio's a pretty big star. I mean,
yeah, he is, and it's like, I don't know.
I mean, you could have done it with Mox. You could have done it with Punk. You could have done it with anybody. Jericho is 40-something years old. And you did it with you. That's how you started AEW. You know what I mean?
See, I didn't think about it in that light.
Yeah.
About how Jericho, but then again, it's not like Jericho's the first champion in the lineage. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's true. But
that's whoever Samoa Joe or whoever the hell it is. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Who the first Ring of Honor champion was, to be honest. But that'd be a good thing to look up for the lookup guy. Yeah. Hey, lookup guy.
Can we get our?
We need a stat guy for the show.
We need a stat person, please.
We need a stat guy for the show that we can just throw to. Because I could look it up, but it would take me for freaking ever. So yeah, Jericho, new Ring of Honor champ. Then we get, I guess it looks like we do the, there was a video package and stuff like that, in between, but then we get the tag team title match.
Okay, hold on a second before we move on.
Okay.
Low-key defeated Christopher Daniels, Spanky, our old buddy Spanky,
hey, yeah.
Doug Williams, in a 4-way 60-minute iron match. After Block A, Block B, Block C, Block D ROH Championship Tournament to become the inaugural champion on July 27th, 2002.
Oh, wow.
Low key.
So low key, and it was like a New Japan kind of deal with the blocks.
Yep. The blocks.
Huh.
Spanky got in there.
Isn't that Kendrick? That's Kendrick, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Brian Kendrick.
Yeah.
Man, I was a Doug Williams fan. Anyway, let's move on.
Doug Williams
that match, 1448. I don't know if you heard that earlier.
Was he? Yeah. He was like the bigger, like British guy, right?
No, Doug Williams is the Canadian, the master of the Canadian Destroyer.
That's Petey Williams.
Oh, it's his cousin.
I think Doug.
Oh no, Doug. Yeah, he is the big German guy.
The big, yeah.
All right.
I was a fan of his work in Impact TNA days. I never really saw him do ROH, but he was real good in TNA. But just had kind of trouble getting over to a certain degree. But ring work was fantastic, I thought. But yeah, so there you go. So that may be what they're doing. Anyway, Vito, we go into this tag team title match. Now, there were some people in this world, of course, a lot of people, we were prepared for this to happen back at the pay-per-view, back it all out. They didn't pull the trigger. They didn't change the finish, like a lot of people speculated they might have because, the Acclaimed were so over. And a lot of people feared that we would get to this match here, which was where we thought the obvious rematch would take place. And since it being the hometown and all that stuff, for the Acclaim, that it'd be a lot better. Some people were worried that the momentum may have been lost, but as you could tell if you watched or viewed this show, that was not the case whatsoever. Yeah, probably, I would want to say I did hear most of the audio for this match, and it sounded to me like Acclaimed were way more over, or at least just the crowd was louder than they were for them at All Out, and they were pretty freaking loud at All Out.
Yeah, they were into it tonight.
So,
oh man, this is where I will pull up the All Out scrum.
okay.
Because one of the reporters, we talked about this, one of the reporters pulled up the question for Tony.
Right.
As Swerve and Keith Lee are sitting there next to him.
Yeah.
Tony, this is a fucking quote, okay? Tony, did you think about pulling an audible during that match when you heard how over the Acclaimed was? Right there next to the chance. Swerve was like, are you kidding me? And Tony's like, well, no, I did not think of that. But here's what will happen. They'll have another match at this whatever. And Swerve's like, what? So you can put the titles on the guy these people want? And I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
So Swerve pretty much told us what was going to happen tonight, which it did. And it was great,
It was everything we expected it to be. They did they did all their stuff. They were over as
Swerve in their glory came out with Fabulous. Acclaim came out with DJ Who Kid. Yeah. I heard that 5 times during that match. That's why I had to do it. I just say Who Kid when I refer to him, but guess I'm not part of that crowd.
I would do it, but I'd probably go into a coughing spell, so I'm going to refrain.
Let's not. Just hold back. They just got in the audience. They didn't stand at ringside. I asked you this about another thing, but are you going to purchase the $100 Acclaimed basketball jersey? Is that something you're going to pick up?
More than likely, no.
Okay. Just checking. They put it on the screen there. I didn't know if they'd hook you with that. The other thing I saw on the screen at that exact time was November 4th. AEW is going to be in a certain city. Tickets go on sale Friday. So just want to throw that out there. Seattle, baby. Coming to the Northwest.
November 4th, huh?
No, wait. No. I wrote November. It's actually January 4th.
January 4th, huh?
I wrote November. January.
Seattle.
Tickets go on sale Friday. Not yet. Yeah.
I've heard San Francisco. I've heard Seattle. Now they got to hit in between there with Portland. I mean, it just makes sense.
Just makes sense.
But judging by, I don't know how the Raw that the WWE just did in Portland, but judging by the fact that my Eugene, Oregon WWE house show got canceled due to low ticket sales, confirmed it was actually due to low ticket sales. So
dang,
they probably won't be doing Eugene, but you never know.
Well, AEW will sell out the crowd here, and if they do a show, we want it bad. I'll go.
Right. Yeah, no.
I told my wife that's my Christmas present. I don't care if it takes up 4 of them.
It's too damn bad, man. You know that, back in the day, Portland Wrestling would come down and run Matt Court and draw a good, 3,000-4,000. This was like all the way up until 1990 or so. I want to say I was trying to do some lineage on Portland Wrestling and just kind of looking through old observers and just seeing the reports, and you can see it as it gradually goes on. Dave's like, yeah, the report is less and less people, going to Matt Court. And then, and then eventually they're like, well, they're not running the building anymore because can't get enough people in there. So, yeah.
Does he report on Portland Wrestling now?
No, I don't believe so.
Shame. There was another accidental collision between Swerve and Keith. So look, I'm pretty sure their time's coming up.
We're going to a split for sure. We send Swerve to the heel side. Keith Lee is, obviously the face. I mean, I guess they could reverse that, but I don't see why they would.
No, I don't think so. Swerve's a natural asshole. Thing I wanted to ask you is when Max Caster went up for that first mic drop. What did you think about that? That weird fall? Did you catch that?
Well,
he looked like he was selling the knee when he came down, but when the camera panned back, it almost Swerve had just came up. So at first I thought Swerve pushed him, but they weren't selling it like that.
Right.
It was weird. It was a weird thing.
This match just kind of in general had, there was some clunkiness, but it was one of those things that it just doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? It's it's one of those things where they could have just botched it up, and no one would have cared.
Keith Lee and Swerve tried 3 different tag team moves on Max Caster in a row, and none of them looked good or worked out or anything. It looked so weird.
Right.
But
there was some definite clunkiness, but no one gave a crap because they're like, we're ready to see the Acclaim win the belts. That's it.
I need your opinion on something. The finish.
Fine.
Do you think in the position they are within the company, face, heel, or whatever they are, which they're obviously face because they're over Clover. I don't know if Clovers are over, but it rhymes.
Oh, so you're talking about Billy getting involved and all that?
Yeah, Daddy asked. Do you think he should have hit the finisher, or do you think it should have been just an easy distraction? If anything, because faces shouldn't have manager, but they got to scissor their daddy every once in a while.
Right.
So, if anything, it should have been just a distraction. Do you think it, I don't know, blurs a line or does something to the action to have him hit the famouser?
I see what you're saying now in hindsight from a psychology standpoint. But I honestly wasn't even thinking about it while it happened.
Yeah.
I just kind of pretended
it was part of the finish.
Right. I just kind of pretended I was in the Attitude Era, I guess. I don't know. Mr. Ass was right there, and stuff like that would happen all the time then. So I was just transported back to a whole nother time.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that during this match too. I was just like, man, how awesome is it that Billy Gunn is still out there looking great and doing stuff in 2022? Who'd have thought it?
Going by the name Daddy Ass.
Right. Who'd have thought it? He looks the same as he did 20 years ago, man.
Almost better.
Yeah.
He looks great.
And way better than any of his, of course, Road Dogg. He's, fallen off the wagon. Triple H, fine. China's dead, but, hey, looks better than Waltman. Waltman ain't in that kind of shape either, so.
Yeah, so the finish is Famouser picks him up, throw him in the ring. Uh, uh, I can't. What's his name? Bowens. Anthony Bowens hits a was a blockbuster, and then Caster drops the mic, and that's the win.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just didn't think the Famouser should have been part of the finish. If he would have hit Lee with the finisher while they pinned Swerve, I'd have been cool with that. Famouser Lee while they pinned Swerve without the referee looking.
Now did Swerve attack him first though?
He was in his face. Okay. I don't think he touched him.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, if Swerve like provoked him, then it's like, okay, well then, boom, like hit him with something.
That match went 13:41.
Okay. So similar time frames for the first two matches.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think at this point we got
weird.
Well, we got the FTR promo backstage.
Yeah, it's weird.
Now it sounded like they were about to challenge, throw down the gauntlet, and then Gun Club came out, called themselves the Younger FTR.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird. It was awkward for me. They called themselves, I don't know, Young FTR, and basically made it seem like they're washed up when they're holding literally every tag team title from every company but the one they work in. It's like, dude, all they need is the, NWA tag titles, and
they're trying to interject this Gun Club into things. So we'll see.
It was a no for me. It was a no for me.
I mean, if you think about it, they're pretty much the main heel tag team now, with the fact that they're in the firm and all that, you know what I mean? Because like the Acclaimed,
the ass boys,
right? The Acclaimed is not their faces. I mean, FTR faces. Like Lucha Bros. I mean, without the Bucks holding it down.
Who?
Yeah, right. We're gonna.
I went back and watched the intro. None of those guys are on the intro still.
Yeah.
Not even Cutler.
Well, they sell that pretty hard because it's they did the same thing with Max. Speaking of Max, we get Tony Schiavone interviewing Wheeler Yuta for some unknown reason. Don't know why.
His buddies are gonna fight tonight.
I guess just to get his opinion on that or whatever. He's quickly interrupted by Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Whoa, that tone you're putting out. It seems like you're a devil worshiper. Are you a devil worshiper, Brad?
I am very nice, very evil.
He's calling his people devil worshippers.
Yeah.
MJF has gone out and called himself, his fans, devil worshiper because he's the devil.
Yeah.
That takes balls, buddy. Takes balls.
I'm fine with it. I've been worshiping the devil since I was a child, so no, I'm just kidding. No, so he interrupts, he drops some huge bombs, talking about how Danielson's brains are scrambled and Moxley is whatever, and then the line that really hit you to hard is when he talked about Regal popping pills.
Yeah.
And that provoked Wheeler Yuta, but then Morrissey came in and squeezed the hell out of him, and Max hits him with the ring.
And Yuta needs help on the microphone. Regal needs to stop training him in the ring and start training him on the mic. He needs help.
He has a personality, but he doesn't talk like his personality. So it's one of those things where it's like there's a weird disconnect there. But yes, definitely could use some mic work. I would almost prefer he not talk much.
He says, MJF getting engaged to be married recently suggests that MJF's fiance is too smart for her. Mm-hmm. His fiance has figured out that MJF is a spineless piece of garbage who will walk out on her like MJF walked out on AEW.
Right.
I'm like, dude.
And then Max referred to them as the Blackpool Cuckold Club.
Yeah, I know, that was funny.
Which I got a huge laugh out of. Man. A lot of cuck talk for MJF, because he also mentioned that, you know, anyone in the crowd he would let sleep with his wife. They would let them sleep with their wives or whatever.
Yeah, he won't let anyone sleep with his wife, but he's allowed to sleep with anybody else's wife.
Right. Any of the crowd would just offer up Max to their significant others, apparently.
Here, take my trash whore.
Right. Yeah, you know.
I'm sorry, was that too much?
Whatever.
I don't know what.
Whoa there, Vito.
That's what he calls them, I think.
Well,
gutter trash or something.
Then we get a Jade Cargill promo. I wasn't really paying attention. I guess Diamante interrupted her.
Yeah.
The rapper Trina was also involved.
Oh, is that who that was? She's a rapper?
Apparently, the rapper Trina is who that was.
I thought she was some wrestler I was out of the loop on.
Never heard of her, but...
All right, let's figure this out.
Maybe we can hear a little sample. I wish I could get third-party audio onto here. I will figure it out one day how to do a third-party audio screen capture.
Oh, this website calls her a rap legend.
Really?
It says rap legend Trina to accompany Diamante for TBS title match. Okay. I apologize for not knowing Trina, the rap legend. I will go from here and learn her discography. So
yeah, you know, rap is kind of like that. You know, they got to talk about being legendary right out of the gate. You know, you got to sell it. You know, it's just like wrestling. Yeah. It's kind of like wrestling in that way. Ah, holy crap! Oh, there we go.
Now this next match.
Pac, Orange Cassidy, the AEW, or PAC rather, the All-Atlantic Championship on the line. This is good stuff. You know,
Pac's the first double champ. Let's not sell him short on that.
Yeah, right. He's part of the trios folks as well.
Trio folk.
The trio of folks.
I like how aggressive Pac wrestles.
For sure.
He's very aggressive.
He really brings the best out of Orange.
He does.
And it's really weird how, like, you know, I love Orange Cassidy, but it's really weird, like, how he kind of, like, picks and chooses to have these matches. You know, like his more intense matches, you know, like you know, this one, like the one with Osprey and stuff like that. But I loved how, you know, as intense as they are, you know, like especially tonight, they still worked in, you know, some of his comedy stuff into the middle of it too. I think that's just brilliant.
Yeah, I actually liked tonight's comedy bit for, like, you know, the kicks. That was the best.
The kicks were so over, dude.
The kicks tonight were the best because Pac's just like, give it to me! Right. Give it to me! And he's just doing the small kicks. And Pac's like, yeah!
Yeah, dude. The crowd loved it, too. It was great.
Yeah, tonight was probably the best kicks. Yes. I enjoyed them.
For sure.
The other thing I was going to say is how Pac takes a DDT. Those 2 DDTs he took tonight, you see those?
Oh, dude. I thought his neck was broke, dude.
That's how he sold them. He's just amazing on how he takes them.
It blew my mind. I'm like, it looked like his neck was made out of rubber.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah, he's just so talented. He's so talented.
So this is more or less a hold off kind of a thing. I mean, for a second, I thought maybe Cassidy would win it. But of course, Pac ends up winning the match.
Not a fan of the finish.
Yeah, you know.
I didn't think it made sense.
Orange punch, Pac breaks the ropes, grabs the ring hammer from the ring bell, shielded himself as he hit Cassidy with the hammer, rolled him back into the ring for a kind of a cheap victory.
Yeah, 12-15 that match went.
So a similar time frame, the 12 to 14 minute range, all these matches so far tonight, which, you know, it's a way to break it up evenly.
I didn't think that ending made sense because Pac and the Lucha Brothers are not straight up heels. Lucha Brothers aren't. I'm not sure if they're faces, but they're not heels.
Right.
And I mean, is Death Triangle heel or is it just Pac that's heel? You know what I mean?
Right.
Or is AEW just not have those?
I think that, you know, in a certain respect, they all basically, you know, it's like the Attitude Era, you know, shades of gray. You decide how you feel about this person.
Yeah.
You know, whether, you know, whatever they do or whatever. No, and I think that to a degree, that sort of psychology does make sense. And anyone that tells you that it doesn't know what they're talking about, because, you know, the man who drew the most money in the history of the business, I believe, ever, Stone Cold Steve Austin, that was the MO with that. He was so bad that he was good. And, you know, it didn't matter what he did. Even when they tried to pair him with Vince McMahon, people still resisted. You know, and they're like, no, dude, I don't think so. Like, you know, like, we don't care. Like, we still love Stone Cold. So
yeah, no matter what he did, we loved him.
Right. And the same goes for a guy, you know, that's kind of the territory that MJF is creeping into right now. Where, like, it doesn't matter. People love him because he's an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, they you're so bad that you're good. You know, it's the same type of deal. And that's what makes me really excited about Max just as a whole, is because I think that if they do him right, he could, like, cross that line, like that Austin line, and, like, actually make wrestling like a household name again. I think he could do that. Whether it happens or not, we'll see.
So this next match, I just want to come out on top and say I was not a fan of.
You know, they could have done so much more.
I didn't like the finish at all either. It only went 9 minutes and 47 seconds. But, you know, I think they made up for it.
Right. Well,
since I yelled the F word in the middle of my living room and I was by myself.
4-way women's match. We got Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Serena Deeb, Athena, and Toni Storm comes out on top.
With the world's most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up.
Right. Which, that's a whole nother thing. Now, here's the thing. We get a big tease, though, right after this match, right?
We get a big beatdown.
Right. Well, what's her name? Hayter, right?
Yeah, I'm sick of that.
Hayter comes down. We've been kind of prepping for this, like, Hayter turn on Britt Baker, and that's kind of what everybody thinks is happening.
Britt's got a broken nose.
Right. She's bleeding all over the place. Britt Baker is, and so what's her name? Hayter comes down. You think she's going to turn on Britt, but she doesn't. Instead,
again.
Instead, they attack. They attack Tony, right?
Tony and Athena.
Tony and Athena. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a heel face beatdown.
And then we get the
Some
huge
music.
surprise. Right.
We get some music. We hear Tony Schiavone say, who's this, or what's going on, or something. And then
I could not exactly. Yeah. I could not exactly hear the music, but just kind of from the visuals, I was like, is this freaking, I was like, is this Jade coming out? This is really weird. Like, Jade, you know what I mean? At first I thought it was Jade for some reason. And then I was like, oh no. You know what I mean? Like, we get Saraya.
Her name is Saraya. You know what I said?
Paige.
Even though I saw the word Saraya,
right.
Everything, she's coming out. Excalibur says Saraya. I immediately my jaw drops. It's the second time my jaw drops. And I say, oh my God, it's fucking Paige.
Right.
I was like, Saraya is here. Although I've been saying Saraya this whole time, so I will say Saraya from now on.
Either way.
Nope. Excalibur told me to say Saraya.
We get
but she
surprise.
Got a huge pop. I don't know. It could have been bigger than MJF. Pretty big.
You know, possibly a game changer. You know, throw that word around a lot, you know, with a lot of these people that Tony has signed. But
about time we get a big female name.
Pretty big deal. Now the story goes is, you know, that she's been, you know, supposedly her neck or whatever, and WWE wouldn't let her wrestle.
Nope, she's cleared though. She's ready to go.
But apparently, okay, so this is like 100%. Like, yes. You've heard this, okay?
Yes.
Because I still wasn't.
She was on Oral Sessions, or now actually now it's just called Sessions, but no, she was on there, and she talked about it with Renee.
Yeah, well, that's good. I did not know that 100% for sure. So yeah, you know, happy to see her back. Gonna be nice to see her work again, and hopefully, you know, bring some credit and some stuff to the AEW women, some caliber is the word is the word I'm looking for actually there. Because I think we can all agree that, you know, it definitely needs that. And as far as WWE goes, huge mistake, I think. Letting her go. They did such a horrible job, like promoting the movie and everything. Have you seen the movie? The Paige movie?
Oh yeah, Fighting with My Family, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
A great movie.
Loved it. Took the kids to see it when it came out. You know, they still love watching it because it's like, you know, it's the wrestling movie, you know.
Yeah.
But I think all that stuff. Kind of a big mistake for WWE, but I guess if they weren't going to let her wrestle, then, you know, it's a means to an end anyway, right?
Yeah.
So that's, you know, the big story as far as the return goes for this show. Next up, before we get into the main event, what was the deal with this Darby Allin video?
Someone was in the body bag. I'm not sure who they made it to seem like. He carried a Darby.
Is he carting around Sting in a body bag? Like,
that's what I was wondering. But I just put Darby's weird.
Yeah.
But that's literally what my note said. Darby's weird.
All right.
And he walked for a long time, carried the body bag, but then he got into a cab and said, I want to go to the stadium, or Arthur Ashe or whatever. And I was like, why'd you walk? Why don't you just call for that cab? Anyway.
And he got on a bus and all kinds of different stuff. Yeah.
I'm like, whatever. But so
Either way.
right after that, Excalibur was doing his thing where he rattles off the matches for next week.
Yeah.
You know, he does that.
Oh, yeah.
A name came out of there that I wrote down here. Did you catch Excalibur say the word Warjo?
Yes. No, that is the official team name now, apparently. They
Warjo.
Ward Joe or whatever. Yeah,
Warjo.
yeah. They did this on Twitter or something.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Warjo.
It was it was some kind of Twitter or YouTube video or something like that. But yes, they came up with the name officially, unofficially.
Wow. Yeah,
Cool.
It caught me.
Cool team. I don't, we have a lot of face teams right now. I don't know that we really needed them to team up, but we'll see what they do with it.
Yeah, if you word it weirdly, they're tag team champions. They're a tag team of champions.
Right. They're a tag team of champions. Yes, exactly.
There you go.
Tag team of singles champions.
Well, you don't got to throw that word in there. Let's just say they're tag team champions.
I'm the tag team champions.
I'm the tag team champions. All right.
Main event time, Vito, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, the two BCC members. Commentary. Right. Regal comes out for commentary. MJF's got to sit up there with the dumb poker chip. I was really hoping that because I was like, don't do the WWE thing, like with the briefcase. Don't make him carry around the chip, and he hadn't been.
No.
Until tonight.
It's for the aesthetics. See, this one,
right?
He just wants to use stroking it and stuff. Oh man, I don't know.
They got him looking like Flava Flav wearing this chip around his neck, or I don't know. He wasn't wearing it around his neck, but same difference.
Man, this was a physical battle.
This was great. I'm so happy that they did a Danielson match instead of like a Moxley match. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, they just they were like two friends beating the shit out of each other.
Yes.
Like in high school, me and my two best friends,
yes.
We had a little thing. You and your friends had one too. And
sure.
we all loved each other, but we beat the out of each other. Yes. And that's what happened tonight. Two buddies beat the shit out of each other.
Yes.
It was awesome.
A lot of nice,
I loved it.
Stiff shots. There's a couple things that were like very, very unique spots where they did that. It was like a double surfboard against each other or whatever the hell they were doing.
Where they're standing on their head, slapping each other?
Yeah.
That was weird.
Right.
That was weird. Oh, man.
No, I mean, yeah, definitely a unique spot.
See, Mox hit a stomp?
Yes.
I was waiting for a spear or a Superman punch, but he never hit either one.
Right. He should have just used all their moves. Yeah.
Yeah. At least a spear. Not a Superman punch, that's Orange Cassidy's move, but
right.
Come on, hit a spear. That would have been cool.
Do a little spear, maybe a pedigree or two,
Yeah.
But no, great match. They did a lot of cool stuff. They teased the Bret Hart Roddy Piper WrestleMania 8 finish, where they're in the submission and Danielson kicked off the rope and tried to turn it into a pin.
Yeah.
But Mox just rolled out of it. They didn't actually do a near fall or anything out of it.
No, the finish was just kind of sad.
Well, before we get to the finish, this led into the finish, and this is the second time now. I think maybe it wasn't Moxley, maybe it was somebody else, but the last two times I've seen Danielson do the cattle mutilation, people need to learn how to sell this move, because if you're just laying there and just selling it like a normal submission, it looks stupid.
Yeah.
Like, the whole point of the cattle mutilation is once he, like, hangs your arms, you're supposed to, like, flip and freak out like a piece of cattle. That's the whole point of the move. And Moxley's just laying there like, ugh.
Trying to twist his hips, yeah.
Right. And it's like, it just looks dumb. If you're going to do the move, sell it right.
Yeah.
That's my only pet peeve about this match. But but take us into the finish. I can't really think of it off the top of my head. Let me pull it up here. They do some stuff. Yeah, the Death Rider on the rampway, right? That's another thing that led to it.
Then it's like it's the label lock, and then Mox is back with the Death Rider. Then he's got the sleeper, and he goes to turn it to the whatchamacallit, his bulldog choke, but you think he's gonna, because that's his finisher.
Right,
but no,
right.
he just kind of keeps it on the sleeper hold.
Yeah.
And then just kind of like lays on the back of Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
And then Bryan Danielson just kind of disappears underneath Moxley. And then ref grabs his hand, drops it, and the match is over. I'm like, that's a shitty way to beat your homie. Just kind of smother him into the mat.
We don't even
there's better ways.
We don't even get the 3-arm drops.
Yeah, there's better ways to beat your homie instead of just laying on him until he gets out.
Well, it was a weird finish, but
there was a lot of weird finishes tonight.
Yeah, but
not a lot, a few.
I agree with this finish because it was a nice way to give the fans a real finish, but not make it like uber convincing, like, not convincing, but not make it like uber, like too much, like as far as like the loss for Danielson.
Yeah.
Now he can kind of play it off as like, you got me, I passed out. He could just say he passed out. He doesn't have to like admit to actually like being beaten. They can use that in the future, when they work together again, which I'm sure they will.
Yeah. The match went 1932, as it should have.
And, I was kind of half expecting, because Excalibur mentioned a couple times during this match when they kept showing Max up there in the freaking crowd with his huge poker chip. He mentioned that he could take that title shot at any time, and he emphasized it.
The thing about it is, I listened to Tony talk about it today. Right. It's like he has to say, I want this, I want it at this time, and Tony has to sanction it.
Okay.
So it's not going to be right after a match.
It's not a cash
where two guys. Deal. Yeah, it's not going to be right after a match. It could be like, I just got to the building, I put my tights on, I want him out here right now. Right. It can be like that, but it's not going to be like right after a match coming down after you just got hit with a, crowbar in the face.
Right.
Type of deal.
Well, it's nice to have that confirmed at least.
Yeah.
That way, people aren't like waiting for that. But, people that didn't watch that or listen to that, they need to make that clear on TV, because the way Excalibur said it, it makes you think that there's going to be a cash in.
Yeah.
But the later it went, I just kind of knew that that's not where we were going on this night.
So did you see the last minute of the show? Did you see when William Regal tried to put the belt around Mox?
Oh, I didn't catch that part. No.
Okay.
Take me through that.
So he wins. Bryan Danielson's still on the ground. He does the thing where he gets to his ass, slides back, I just lost, blah, blah, blah. William Regal comes down the ringside, grabs the belt from the timekeeper. It looks like he's about to go put the belt on Moxley. Bryan Danielson comes up, grabs the belt all angrily from Regal, points at Regal, all like mad, and then show's over.
Huh.
So to me, it almost seemed like Danielson wanted to put the title on Mox, like he felt he should have, or something. But I don't know. Could mean something. Could not. I would hate for it to mean that he's going to leave the Blackpool Combat Club. That would make me extremely sad, and it'd be a horrible move.
Who,
So I
Mox
throw
or
that out
Mox
there.
or Danielson?
Yes.
Either or.
Right now, I'm talking about Danielson, but
Okay.
either one of the four guys who are in it right now, if they leave, it'd be very sad. That group has not got its full run yet.
I was thinking it would be fine if they separated Danielson, but you know, to each their own, I guess. It works either way.
So at the beginning of this match, one of the commentators said that with Brian over, their record, they were 9-2-1 against each other. With Brian having the over. Isn't that weird? In their whole careers.
Wow.
9-2-1.
Interesting.
Well, because Daniel Bryan was way bigger name than Dean Ambrose was. You know what I mean? Unless they're only talking about Bryan Danielson and Mox.
No.
I mean, did they mix it up in Ring of Honor?
I think they gotta be dredging, you know, WWE stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
But then from
Daniel
there,
Bryan and Dean Ambrose.
They may have crossed paths early on. You know, Mox was like a CCW guy. I don't think I ever really saw him in Ring of Honor. But it's possible Danielson worked some CCW stuff.
Brian Daniel was also in what's that, GCW? No, not what's the gorilla one?
Pro Wrestling Gorilla. Yeah, they may have done something there too.
Yeah.
Maybe even Shikara.
PWG, that's it.
I mean, Shikara was always doing random ass stuff back in the day. So
yeah. So maybe they're indie. Maybe they crossed over in the indie times 12 times. I don't know. Well, 10 because one of them is AEW. So yeah, 10 times on the indies. I don't know, but
it seems like they would have wrestled a lot more in WWE than just like 8 or 9 times or 7 times or however it would count out.
It'd be 8 times.
Right. Seems like they would have worked against each other a lot more than that, especially if you count I guess singles matches.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of tag team matches weekly, especially back in them days, you know. WWE stuff. When the Shield came up, Daniel was still doing his it was during the Team Hell No era of his career when he first came in. So but then, they were both in the world title picture there, around the time that that Danielson won. Of course, Mox, I think, won the belt like a couple years later on like a weird thing. And they didn't have him as champion for long. It was only like a month or two, but that is Brand's history lesson on wrestling for this week, folks.
There it is, folks. Rare present there for you. Couldn't get my word.
Take it to the school.
All right.
Well, Vito,
that's the end of the show. What are we doing there? What are we rating this thing?
We're gonna rate this thing, huh? Well, I tell you what. Everything was solid. 2, 3,
4, 5 championship matches.
5 championship matches.
And a huge return.
A big return. The women's match drops it down a bit, I think.
I agree.
But they made up for it with the return.
Agreed.
Or the debut, rather. And then, like we were talking about, the tag team match was a little clunky. But other than that, I think we got 3 very solid, 4-star-ish matches, I would say. 3.5 to 4-star matches. We got 3 of those, and we got a couple. I'm going to go with a 3.75.
All right.
Not quite to a 4. What about you?
My only problems were I didn't like the finish of the tag match, which I made, and the women's match was a loss for me, except for Saraya at the end. But other than that, the FTR thing was super weird. Ass Boys made it uncomfortable backstage. Right. I'm gonna. All those championship matches were good, for what they were. You know what I mean?
Right.
For what they were. So I'm gonna do the 4. I'm gonna do the 4.
All right.
I'm not gonna let the women's and the finishes that I didn't like take it too far down.
So before
the commentary issue, nope. I forgot about the commentary issue. 3.75.
Yeah. Okay.
3.75. They took me out of it.
See, we're on that same wavelength.
Yep. Commentary / that stupid car. 3.75.
That damn taxi cab. Taxi cab confessions.
Yeah.
Now, Vito, one last thing before we get out of here. Where do we see this championship situation going? They made quite an ordeal about cutting to MJF a lot during this match. So
we don't have a pay-per-view coming up anytime soon.
Right, November, right? Would be the next one. So we're a couple months away.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to wait till the pay-per-view to make MJF a champion.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, that's where I think we're going. MJF is getting that title. John Moxley's third reign is not going to... We're getting a CM Punk type reign here without an injury.
Okay.
I hate the word paper champion, but that's what we're going with here.
Yeah. Okay. I think maybe they stretch it out to the pay-per-view. I don't see how they can. But it's possible. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that. We'll see who's right. You can take the side of... You'll take the under of the before pay-per-view, and I'll take the over.
All right.
Of the at the pay-per-view. They somehow
we both agree that he's winning, though, right?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, good.
100%. You gotta... They need to have a guy that is their guy, and that's him. Like I said, like I mentioned earlier in the show, man, like he can be Stone Cold if they do this right.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
Well, Vito, my man, it's been a pleasure as always. Check out stuff, check out the old shows, check out other stuff that we do. pwplanet.com.
Hey, watch wrestling.
Yes.
Just watch wrestling.
Smoke weed and watch wrestling. Yeah.
Hey.
Drink beer and watch wrestling. Whatever
there
you gotta
do.
Sniff glue and watch wrestling.
And listen to Spotify.
Yes.
Because we're on Spotify. That's where I listen to this channel is on Spotify. Let me just let you know, folks. If you want to know where this is exclusive, if you want to know where Big Vito T listen to Pro Wrestling Planet stuff, it's on Spotify, folks.
It's on Spotify.
Spotify.
Get the Spotify on, follow it, leave a review. PW Planet, Pro Wrestling Planet Podcast, The Brand, and Vito signing out. Give me are we still too sweeting? Is that okay to do still?
Yeah, too sweet. We have not been. Cease and desist.
We have not been, yeah. That's good stuff. We'll see you next time.